It's the Orioles unmasked in spring training in its final weekend. And for the Orioles, their final spring training game here at their spring training home, Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. Hard to believe this is the last one and one of 3 consecutive games against the Atlanta Braves. Orioles lost in Orlando to the Braves last night. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome. It is that time. Final decisions. The Orioles have only 1 game left. They'll go back to Orlando to take on the Braves tomorrow and then head up to Tampa, where they will open up on Monday against the Rays. Some teams still trying to figure out what their starting rotation is going to be. Not so for the Orioles. It was in question because they certainly have at least 6 legitimate starters. But when the Orioles head to Tampa Bay, the Orioles know who's going to be in that starting rotation. It'll start out, of course, opening day with Chris Tillman, followed up by Wei Chen and then Miguel Gonzalez against the Rays. Going home, day off. Bud Norris will make the start in the opener at home, not officially announced, but that's the way it looks. Ubaldo Jimenez will be in the starting 5, but will be skipped probably the first time around. And then Kevin Gausman will be working out of the bullpen, but more than capable of fitting into that rotation. So that's the way it stacks up, Mike Bordick, right now for the starters.
Yeah, and it's a good group. I'll tell you what, they had a great spring. Chris Tillman looks awesome. Wei Chen, as smooth as ever. Miguel Gonzalez and Bud Norris. You know, they worked their way through spring training. Bud looked really sharp in his last outing. Miguel Gonzalez, you know, he looks good too. So I think everybody is on the same page. They're ready to get going. The big story, though, has been Ubaldo. He's really come on strong this spring training. He's cleaned up his delivery a lot. He's had a lot of help from Ramon Martinez, who's in camp, along with pitching coach Dave Wallace and Dom Cheedy. So his last 4 starts, he's only had 2 walks in 19 innings of work. His first 2 starts of spring, 5 walks in 3 1/3 innings. So I think that helped cleaning up his delivery, making it more efficient, and something he can repeat is going to help him. And I also think the fact that he's going to be in attack mode. He's going to be more aggressive early in counts with his 2-seam fastball. He's going to avoid trying to fall behind. So he's going to try to get the ball put in play, let this great defense play behind him.
And for the Orioles, it means you've got a very good long man and a starter if you need him, and Kevin Gausman, who could very easily have been in the starting 5. The contract of Jimenez probably the reason that he isn't, and I don't mean that to be unfair to Jimenez, but that's simply fact of life. Big story today in camp, Jimmy Paredes. Paredes is probably going to go on the DL. He was going to make this ball club for opening day and maybe had a chance to be a starter or at least a lot used. He's got a bad back. Happened in working out in the weight room. So we'll talk about that more. Dan Duquette's going to join us in the 2nd inning, the vice president. So it changes things a little bit as to what the Orioles have for their opening day starting lineup. It will probably look like this with De Aza, Manny Machado, Jones, Young, Pierce. Snyder gets the job in right. Scope, Joseph will catch. Flaherty, probably because of the matchup, will be the starter at the shortstop position. But then you look at the bench. What are you going to do now with Paredes out of there? He would have been one of those on the bench. Those options are available to the Orioles in all likelihood with Nix, Giannis, and Clevenger. And also, and Buck Showalter just threw this out, do you go with 13 pitchers? I don't think so, but he did throw it out on the table today.
Yeah, I mean, there is that option for 13 pitchers, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how this all works itself out, because there are a lot of moves that have to be made. There are a lot of players in camp that don't have options. They can't get sent down or they're going to lose them. They have to be on the Major League roster. So 40-man roster adjustments need to be made. I think Paredes, you've got Nix, you've got Giannis, and you also have Clevenger, left-handed bat. So he might want to go with some offense there in the Tampa series. And then Chris Davis comes back in the 2nd day.
Now, we said Dan Duquette will join us, Vice President, Baseball Operations. We'll ask him about those and other matters as the Orioles get set to play their final game here this spring at home against the Braves. Sarasota, Florida, spring training home of the Orioles, also a destination for culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to an eclectic array of world-class cuisine. Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week. It's June 1 through 14. It's celebrating its 10th year. Learn more at savorsarasota.com. Beautiful day. Temperatures in the mid-80s today. Fine beach day here in Sarasota. Siesta Key Beach, what you're looking at right there. Braves and Orioles get set here at Ed Smith. Here's the starting lineup. The Atlanta Braves will bring in a lot of starters. Young at the top. Peterson will be in the lineup. Freeman, Kelly Johnson probably on the bench to start. Chris Johnson in the game. Johnny Gomes. Bethencourt will be their starting catcher. Simmons, a great young shortstop. Todd Cunningham getting the start, where, of course, Nick Markakis will play. There are the numbers. Freddie Freeman this spring tearing it up.
Now let's take a look at Ubaldo Jimenez's scouting report. He's looking for a bounce-back year. He had some struggles last year, just a 6-9 record with a 4.81 earned run average, 77 walks on the year for Ubaldo, so he needs to bounce back. He's cleaning up his delivery, though, and that's a key. A lot of arms and legs, a lot of movement. If he can get it more efficient and repeatable, he'll certainly put up better numbers and definitely limit those free passes, cut on those walks. Spring training's been good for him. Rough start, but he's finishing strong, and he looks to continue that and take it on into the season.
And we're underway. First pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike from Jimenez, going against Eric Young, switch hitter, making the start in center field. And he will take the pitch inside for a ball. Virtually no clouds in the sky for the start of our ball game. Still a bright setting sun, with the temperature still up there near 80 degrees. Wind blowing out towards left, but gently. That's going to be a base hit, not gently into left field. Played by Diaza, and Eric Young, the switch hitter's got a single.
We'll take a look at the Orioles' defense behind Jimenez tonight. Diaza, Jones, and Snyder in the outfield. Cabrera getting another start at shortstop with Ryan Flaherty at second base. Machado and Davis on the corners, and Caleb Joseph behind the plate.
So with a runner on at first and nobody out, and left-handers predominate here at the top of the order. The first four Jimenez faces in this Braves lineup are left-handed hitters, with the switch hitter Young, and then Peterson, Freeman, and Kelly Johnson. Here is Peterson. He'll get the start at second base. Be there this season for the Braves, and he will take it for a strike. Looking down to third base, see whether or not anything is on. In his fifth season, Freddie Gonzalez, the highly respected manager of the Atlanta Braves, with a ball club that's been rebuilt. We'll be seeing a lot of new faces in the lineup and some young players. Peterson will draw the throw over from Jimenez. We'll see whether or not Atlanta wants to try and run here tonight.
Another thing Ubaldo's done as far as cleaning up his delivery is try to be a little bit quicker to home. You know, Buck Showalter, we've talked about this before, that's what he preaches. You got to have quicker times, and Ubaldo was a little lax on that last season, so trying to be a little quicker there, limit some stolen bases opportunities, and you see that nice quick slide step right there.
Pitch will be taken away, and a 1-ball, 1-strikeout for Jimenez last season. The left-hander's 244, the right-hander's 238. Not much of a difference from the side of the plate. Dave Wallace will be watching all of the work of Jimenez this season with some anxiety, wondering what they're going to get. Pitching coach of the Orioles. Pitch will be taken up high, the off-speed delivery, and it will go to 2-1. Jimenez overall here this spring, 2-3 record, 4.84 ERA. Really only one bad outing. He's given up one hit per inning, had 18 strikeouts in 22 innings, walking 7. Runner goes, hit and run. That'll be into the gap in right center field. Snyder will go over to chase him down. Young with good speed makes the turn at third. He's being waved home. There'll be no play. Double and an RBI. And the Braves with two hitters are on the board with a 1-0 lead.
Well, he's left a couple of fastballs up and out over, and the Atlanta hitters have not missed it. Here, a 2-1 count. See that fastball just up and away, that outer third of the plate, and he gets the bat head to it, hooking it over in that right center corner. Nice play by Snyder to get it back in the infield, but a big double to start this game off.
Jace Peterson delivers for the ball club. Boy, he's having a hot spring. 4th RBI, hitting over 330 on the spring now for Peterson, who'll be the starting second baseman for this Braves team. So still nobody out. Runner on at second base, and here is Freeman, the heart and soul of this ball club as far as position players are concerned, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Freeman will be in that starting lineup and will be a much watched player. He'll be at first base on opening day for this team. He is the designated hitter in the ball game tonight. Holding the runner, pick off, good one. Hey, that was close.
Yeah, that's a great move right there. Nice call by Cabrera. Good heads-up play by Jimenez. A lot of times, starting pitchers especially, hard time keeping their eye on the infielders and base runners, but a perfect throw. Just gets his hand in there under that slap tag by Cabrera.
Real good play at second base. Robert Marino, the umpire out there. Only 3 umpires working the spring training game. Pitch will be taken for a ball. Orioles, of course, did play this Braves team yesterday. Lost the ball game there in the 9th inning on a couple of runs by the Braves. Teams are going to meet in the regular season July 27, 28, and 29. That'll be at Camden Yards when the Braves will be taking on the Orioles in interleague play.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup. I know you talk about this Atlanta team as being kind of in that rebuilding phase, and they're hoping that their offense can really pick up the pace because they have some pretty good arms. They've got a good back end of the bullpen. I'm sure we'll be seeing some of those arms in this game, but starting pitching, they landed another one. They brought Cahill over from the Diamondbacks, so making some moves to bolster the rotation a little bit as well.
Yep, Bernie Gonzalez says we'll see. Let's see what this club's chemistry is going to be. They've been picked by many to battle the Phillies for last place. But those are all spring training predictions. Here's the 1-2 delivery by Jimenez. And the pitch will miss outside for a ball. And the count will go to 2-2. Last outing for him was against Toronto. He 6 fine innings, giving up a run on 5 hits in those 6. The one bad outing, that first one against Detroit, 6 runs and only 2 hits and a couple of walks. Gets him that time, and Freeman's retired on the K.
Now the slider up in the zone to get Freeman. So expand the zone. Getting ahead is the key. So he gets the 1-2, starts expanding a little bit, gets Freeman to chase. This pitch elevated, and it's got a little movement at the end as well. Good pitch right there to get the first out for Ubaldo. There's Ramon Martinez. Now, I was talking to Dave Wallace earlier today, and he said that Ramon has made a huge impact on Ubaldo. As far as cleaning up his delivery, they communicate very well together. Told him that Ubaldo spent a lot of time this offseason throwing off a mound. There aren't a lot of pitchers that in the winter will throw off a mound, but Ubaldo did that, so we wanted to come into spring training ready to go. Dave Wallace, pitching coach Dave Wallace, says Ramon has really made an impact on Ubaldo and expects some good things out of him this season.
Dave said Ramon did a little bit of that foot to the backside. Right. Regarding Jimenez, and in no uncertain terms as to what he had to do if he was going to be an effective part of this rotation. And Dave liked that. So did Buck Showalter a lot, and it seemingly has had an impact. But again, till you get to Monday and they count, you don't know. Runner on at second base, so the pitch is in there for a strike at 91 miles an hour. Orioles have the shift employed against Kelly Johnson. Kelly's making the start at third base in the ball game today, in the 4th of the 4 consecutive left-handers at the top of the order for this ball club. Kelly probably will be on the bench to start the season. Just missed inside a little bit. Count goes to 3-2. Another area where they wanted Jimenez to improve, and he has, as Mike talked about in the open, but a little trouble here in the inning is cutting down on these pitches.
Yeah, exactly. The two-seam fastball, just trying to find that command right now. There's a good one riding away. The key for Jimenez is that attack early, not falling behind. There were a lot of times last year, a 1-1 count or 2-1 count, where he'd try to trick a guy with a split finger or a hard slider in the dirt, and the command just wasn't there. So he'd end up falling behind and try to work his way back, and the walks just kept piling up. We mentioned the 77 walks and just 125 innings of work last season for Ubaldo. So, you know, he has good movement on all of his pitches. He has a nice two-seam fastball. When it's down in the zone, you'll see a lot of ground balls. When it's up, like most pitchers, it will flatten out. He has nice movement on his slider, and that split finger can be a really big strikeout pitch for him if he gets ahead.
Johnson, who played with the Orioles a bit last year, will take the pitch for a walk. And not a good start, even though only 1 run is in for Jimenez here in the first inning. So a double, single, strikeout and a walk for the first 4. That'll send Joseph out to have a word with his battery mate. And a chance for the Braves to have a big inning, but also a chance, if Jimenez can get that ground ball, to get out of the inning right here with 1 down.
Yeah, this is the type of situation that you look for your starting pitcher to block everything out, execute your pitch, get it down in the zone, get a ground ball, and get yourself out of this inning. We've seen it so many times with the success that the Orioles pitchers have had, the ability to really limit or minimize the damage of potential big innings. So Ubaldo looking for that one big pitch.
Chris Johnson will be in the starting lineup for the Braves on opening day, playing at first base in the ball game tonight. He'll be at third. 1 down, 2 on. Jimenez will miss, and he'll fall behind 2-0. For Johnson last year, 263 year with the Braves, almost 600 at-bats, complete season. He's played in the majors with Houston and Arizona, carries a 283 major league average, real fine number for him. 2-0 delivery. Johnson will lift that one up in the air. That one he got jammed on, And a good pitch by Jimenez, and Diaz puts it away in a big out, and there are 2 down. Runners have to stay at first and second. No chance to get out of the inning here with only a run in on the Peterson double.
And that's a big out for Ubaldo. And up the weak fly ball, no advancement. I mean, this can really be a positive inning for Ubaldo. Even though Ron Johnson taking it out. Taking it out on the helmet. Of course, his father, Ron Johnson, AAA manager for the Norfolk Tides.
Yep. And here is Johnny Gomes, name well known to Oriole fans and the American League. Gomes is going to get a shot here with the Atlanta Braves this season. He is going to be in their starting lineup. Johnny Gomes starting in left field in this game. He's been a winner wherever he goes. Seemingly the W's follow him. And he's kind of an assistant coach as a player. If you talk to managers he's played for. Foul ball right straight back. And with 2 down, Ubaldo Jimenez goes up in the count 0-2. Well, let's see if he can work his way through this inning. Gomes just 189 as saw in the spring. He does have 8 RBIs though, with the 1 home run. Strikeouts piling up this spring, 16 strikeouts and only 4 walks for Gomes. And he gets another one, so Jimenez works his way through it, including a couple of strikeouts and run in on a couple of hits. Now for the Orioles, a lot of starters. And a 1-0 lead for the Braves as the Orioles will come to the plate, and obviously with a lot of their starters here with opening day Monday. Diaz, Pearson, Davis, Jones, Snyder, and Manny Machado, Cabrera, Flaherty, and Joseph. Spring training picking up every day. Adam Jones now with 4 home runs, 9 RBIs.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for newly acquired Shelby Miller. He came over from the St. Louis Cardinals in the big trade with Jason Hayward, and they're looking for him to be the ace in the hole. This youngster just 24 years old, 2013, won 15 games, so they're hoping he can bounce back. Last year a little bit of an off year, but has a power arm, good fastball in the mid-90s, big curveball as well. He's been working on the change this spring training. That could be the big 3rd pitch for him. See the numbers in spring: 5 games, 1-1 record, 3.44 earned run average, 14 punch outs. The walks, command's been an issue with him. It was last year. It's this spring, 7 walks, so got to get more around the plate.
And the Orioles leadoff batter, and with the ability to be in that spot on Monday against Tampa Bay, certainly be in left field of 100-day Ozzie. And in the leadoff spot here with Pearson, Davis to follow, a couple of home runs, 9 RBIs. They'll play in at 3rd and 1st, just in case of the bunt. There you see those who have batted leadoff. That includes tonight.
Yeah, Diaz leading the way with 15. Cabrera 7, Machado 6, and Reimold with 3. And still a question mark, but it appears by the numbers there. And Diaz leading off here that he will see most of that leadoff opportunity.
Johnson's got it at first base and 1 away.
Take a look at the Braves defense behind Miller. Gomes, Young, Cunningham in the outfield. Simmons and Peterson up the middle with Kelly Johnson at 3rd. Chris Johnson over at 3rd base. And Bethencourt behind the plate.
Steve Pierce will be making the start at first base in all likelihood on Monday. He's the DH in the ball game tonight. Pierce, of course, will be playing first while Chris Davis finishes off his one game left on the suspension. And as we noted, it causes another situation with Davis that the Orioles have got to get him back on the 40-man roster come Tuesday for game number 2. 1-0 count, 1 down. Miller's delivery. He'll put that one down low for a ball. Steve has had just a sensational spring with that .314 average, and as we've mentioned, he has drawn only 1 walk but has struck out only 4 times to go along with the team leading 5 home runs, 10 RBIs. That'll go to short. Simmons up. High throw. Tag. Put on. 2 down. Simmons got that one off the bag. Good play by Johnson to come off and get it.
Yeah, Simmons one of the better infielders in the game. High throw. Nice play by Johnson over at first base. See the hard ground ball here. Maybe a little bit too routine. Takes his time, and then York's almost away up in the stands, but nice job coming off the bag, putting a tag on Pierce.
So 2 down, a little help from your friends on D. Shift employed, and here is Chris Davis. He is playing at first base in the ball game tonight, and will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. There are the numbers for Chris. Big 12 RBIs that he has put up this spring. Likes that. 0-1 delivery by Miller. Got it inside, and he got it down the line. That'll roll into the corner. 339 feet away. Cunningham over to get it. Chris will go into second, and he's got a double with 2 down.
Chris has had a nice spring. He's really starting to use the whole field here. A bullet down the right field line, though, pulling it right into his strength. That's how you beat the shift. Whack one right down the line. They're not playing there yet on you, Chris Davis. Good swing like Chris, and he continues to have some success here. He wants it to carry over as well. Disappointing year for him offensively. Even though the power numbers were there, his batting average will certainly rise from last year's numbers.
A couple of doubles this spring for Chris. And the good news there, they couldn't sneak that pitch by him inside. Inside is where they've been working him a lot.
They have been aggressive in there. He saw that last year, a lot of fastballs in, and even this spring.
Well, the Orioles with a chance to get that run right back off the 24-year-old right-hander Miller. Here's Adam. Adam Jones, 2 down, a towering fly ball. Wind blowing a little to left field. Johnny Gomes gives way. Young is there and makes the catch. Got that one way up in the air. No runs a hit and 1 left on. Braves have a 1-0 lead. Braves have the early 1-0 lead. We appreciate Dan Duquette, Vice President of Baseball Operations, the GM job, if you will, for the Orioles, who is joining us. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Glad to be on.
Just talking about the weather. What a night, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I just love it down here.
Absolutely beautiful. Another big ballpark. All right, we'll hit you up with the hard ones here and get going, I guess. Paredes, the news today, probably going to be on the DL, I guess, not official yet?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to have to start on the DL. He tweaked his back, doing some exercises, and he was having a great spring. He was among the league leaders in the Grapefruit League, and I thought he played well for us last year, but he shouldn't be out too long. He's a big, strong, healthy kid. Otherwise, it's just a muscle strain.
Here's Bethencourt, their catcher. Ubaldo Jimenez in with it in an 0-2 count.
Well, the question is, how do you replace him? I mean, there are a lot of pieces that need to be filled here before the season starts.
Well, that's a good question. We're running out of position players already.
Ooh! Bounces. Jimenez finds it and gets the out. Now the question is, where did that hit him? Because it was loud and a thump.
Wow, that got him good. And take a look here. Caleb Joseph setting up away, and this is a bullet just dropping the head on. Looks like it caught him off the foot, the shoe, and kicked up. Yeah, he's showing Richie Bancel's the trainer, the side of the right foot. Up in the air. Wow, what a great play to stick with that ball.
It did not have a good sound to it, did it?
No, it did not.
Well, GM, what a time to have you up here.
I like to come up here when we're hitting rather than being hit at.
Yes.
Yeah, that's loud. It was loud off the bat, loud off the foot.
He's walking around saying he's okay. Obviously, Ubaldo Jimenez does not want to come out of the ball game.
Maybe it hit the leather of his shoe.
Yeah, he was pointing down low, so maybe down where the spikes are. I would think if you got it off the top of the foot, it's going to do some damage. So maybe more of the hard rubber on the bottom of the spike.
Well, he's going to stay in. So, Dan, pick up where you were on the as far as position players are concerned now with Paredes probably on the deal.
Well, fortunately, we have Ryan Flaherty, and then we also have Cabrera, who we signed. And, I mean, we signed Cabrera in the event that we'd have an injury to our shortstop or our third baseman. So he's somebody that we can look at for shortstop. And as far as extra players go, Steve Clevenger's done a nice job catching. And I bet he could fill in with his left-handed bat for Jimmy Paredes for a short period of time. I don't expect Jimmy's going to be out for that long. And I think it... Of course, Chris Davis is out just the one day. He's not eligible for the first game in Tampa, and then he should be back shortly after that.
That'll be a one-hopper off the bat of Simmons, a shortstop, a base hit in front of Adam Jones. So how do you cover that roster-wise for that one game?
Well, that's what we were talking about today. We still have some decisions with our pitching staff, and I don't know that we have solutions to all the pitchers that we have because we have pretty good pitching depth. And it may be a situation where we might go with an extra pitcher for that day. Fortunately, some of these players are versatile. I mean, Pierce can play first, and he can play the outfield. Chris Davis can play first and a little bit of third and the outfield. And then, of course, Ryan Flaherty plays all around. And we have a pretty versatile roster. We still got, Scope and Manny. They're young, and they're doing good, solid work at their position. So that should help stabilize the club.
Wild pitch call there. Runner down to second base on the pitch to Cunningham. Tom Cunningham's playing in right field. Switch hitter batting ninth for the ball club. 1-0 ball game. Jimenez. See whether or not that comebacker that caught him off the foot affects his pitching here in this inning or later. That's going to be to the middle. It'll be cut off. Cabrera goes to first. Fine play. That'll save a run for the moment anyway. Simmons goes to third, but there are two down.
Now, beautiful defensive play right there by Everett Cabrera. He's been playing some shortstop with Hardy down. And this is a bullet back up the middle, sitting on that slider, a little pirouette, and he gets his feet underneath him and able to make that strong throw. It looks like it might be off balance, but not at all. He is completely in control of his body, throws a strike to Davis. Fine play right there for Cabrera.
Dan, he's come on stronger with the each day in spring
Yeah, he's
training.
looked a lot better. I think that he worked on his conditioning this year in the offseason to get his legs in shape, because a lot of his game is his running. He's one of the better base stealers in the National League. He's also a good bunter. But he had some work to do when he got into camp, and he's looked progressively better each day. The other night against the Pirates, he showed you his offensive skills when he hit the home run. Right-handed, and then he hit the triple left-handed, so we got a chance to see him hit from both sides with power and run. And that was an athletic play at short. He's had trouble on some of the routine plays, but he sat out for a good portion of last year, so I'm hopeful that as he plays more, he'll get back into the swing of things. He's been a solid average shortstop in the National League for the Padres.
Runner on at third base. There are two down. Eric Young, base hit, run scored. His first time to the plate. Dan Conley reporting with the Sun. Ryan Webb has cleared waivers. If that is true.
The waivers are confidential.
I'm just saying, report
Dan
it.
must have a good source.
If that is true. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. Fouled off. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Okay.
Ryan Webb is still on our roster.
Okay. That answers that question. Do you think, I asked you this around at the batting cage here earlier today. Let's leave this till we get, I'll ask this, there'll be a third out. Talking about not only Oriole deals, but deals here in the final weekend. Swing and a miss. Ubaldo Jimenez gets the strikeout and gets out of the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. We'll be back and we'll talk to the Vice President GM of the Orioles. Ubaldo Jimenez smile after getting out of a couple of jams early here, more in the first inning and then one there in the second. Dan Duquette, the Vice President, in charge of operations for the Orioles. How about deals? We go into the final weekend, not just about the Orioles, but overall. Do you think there'll be much movement here?
I think you'll see a couple of more deals between now and when rosters are set on Sunday. A lot of deals were made last week. There were a few pitchers traded back and forth. Atlanta made a deal there yesterday for Cahill. And I think you'll see a couple of more deals, particularly with the pitching, as teams try to staff coming up for the season. I've been frustrated because we haven't been able to make a deal. We had a couple deals in mind that we were trying to do, and we just haven't been able to get them done here in spring training.
Almost tit for tat on the opposing pitcher that time. Snyder delivers the base hit, and the Orioles had their second hit and a leadoff single for the right fielder here in the second inning.
Boy, how did he duck under that one? Travis Snyder with the bullet back through the box. That's a chuck and duck right there. Good swing by Snyder. Nice job by Miller to avoid that contact.
The leadoff man on. That'll bring up Manny Machado. The Orioles down by a score of 1-0, picking up their second hit of the ball game. So how do you feel?
Well, I always say if you get through spring training without an injury, you had a good spring training. So I can't say that we've had a good spring training because we got a few injuries. But I do like the depth of the team, and I think we're going to be fine after we get our A-team back. I think we're going to be able to hold the fort with the depth that we have. And I really like our pitching depth. I like our starting pitching depth. And I think our bullpen's going to be strong again this year. And that's one of the strengths of our ball club.
A great bunt here by Manny Machado. We've seen this spring. Orioles offense laying down some bunts if the defense is back or shifted. And here, Manny, beautiful job getting that bat head out in front of home plate. Well executed. I think no man's land, not even contested there for the easy infield single.
So the Orioles get a couple on here with nobody out, and here is Cabrera with a 271 and 4 RBIs. Again, with the National League teams and potential bunt situations, that's how they play it. Billy Johnson is in at third base, squared around, dropped it. It will be foul. Do you see the Orioles as a different looking team offensively? Leading in home runs, leading the majors last year, likelihood of doing that this year? I mean, they still could.
Well, we still have good power at every position. And Snyder, I think, is going to be a contributor to the offense. I like the way he swings the bat. I think he's got excellent power potential. And Diaza, who we picked up last year, he also has some power. I mean, you're talking about 20, 25 home run power between those two players. Now, we're not going to have the 40 home run man to replace Nelson Cruz, but I think we got power up and down the lineup, and I think that the addition and the return of Machado, Chris Davis on a full-time basis, and eventually Matt Wieters, we can replace those home runs that we lost from left field from Cruz. You're talking about a delta of about 25 home runs, and having Machado and Wieters and Davis back, if they do what they did on average for a couple of years, other than last year, I think we're going to be fine. I'd like to see us get on base a little bit more so we can leverage that power for instead of one-run homers, the Earl Weaver special, the 3-run homer. But I like our power. I mean, Scope has serious power. Manny, as he matures, should hit some more home runs. Adam Jones, you got the power up the middle. Snyder brings power to the plate, and Chris Davis, I mean, he's averaged over 35 home runs the last 3 years. So there's plenty of power on this team that led the major leagues in home runs with the returning players, and I think some of the complementary players and the players back from injury are certainly going to help in that department.
Cabrera up, 1-2 strike count. Runners off first and second base. Shelby Miller's delivery is going to go through the wickets. That's a base hit. Young coming home to Snyder. No throw. The Orioles tie it up. RBI base hit by Cabrera. 3 consecutive singles here in the second inning.
The Orioles offense having a nice inning. Couple singles, a bunt by Machado, and here a great at bat, taking it right back through the middle again. Big RBI for Cabrera. Nice base running by Snyder on his horse, scoring easily. Good send by Dickerson. Good inning.
Dan, the nature of the game's been talked about so much here in the off-season. Offense is down, strikeouts up, pitchers, strikeouts way up, number of pitchers being used, young power arms. How do you see the game changing? And is there an equalizer necessary in regards to offense in baseball?
Well, you see all these pitchers throwing hard, particularly the guys that are throwing over 95. I mean, if you had 1 or 2 on your staff a couple of years ago, you were doing pretty good. Now you got to have about 5 or 6 of guys that throw over 95 to be among the top pitching staffs in the league. So that makes it tough on the hitter. Now, I think the fans, they like to see a little bit more offense, but they also like to see a crisp game. And do you have to make wholesale adjustments? Well, if the guys can't hit and there's not a lot of scoring, I think you'll see some adjustments. But the other thing is the technology. I mean, you see all these shifts. You see every single pitch ball tracked. I mean, they know pretty clearly what the hitter's weaknesses are, and they're working pretty hard to exploit them. I mean, we're doing the same thing. So it's a game of hitting. There's some things you could do to make it more interesting for more hitting.
Get the double play as Ryan Flaherty will hit into the fielder's choice. Manny Machado goes to third. Cabrera is taken out on the 3-6 at second.
Ted Williams used to talk about making the plate a little bit smaller so you didn't have to guard so much, right? So I mean, you could bring the plate in a little bit on each side, or they could speed the game up by calling the strike zone, right?
Which I think we're going to see a little more of that this year.
Yeah, could be. But I mean, I love the game. Obviously, that's how I make my living. But I mean, I love coming out to the ballpark and seeing runs scored, and making great defensive plays. Like ballerina, the ballet ability, the middle infielders like Mike Bordick. I think that's part of the entertainment value, and having your fast outfielders run down the ball in the outfield, that's good. But the reason fans come out, they like to see that ball go over the fence, right?
Yeah.
That's the knockout punch, and as long as you have that, I think you got a pretty good product.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the on-base percentage, though. If you get more guys on base, and all those home runs that the Orioles hit, it certainly adds more production.
Like Steve Pearce is a good on-base man, and Cabrera, particularly against left-handed pitching, he's a good on-base man. So that gives us a good combo at the top of the order against left-handed pitching. Now, against right-handed pitching, we're going to need to find a good combination to get on base early in the order. I'll tell you one player that's looked good here that's good on base is that Nolan Reinhold. He's had a good camp. He's a selective hitter, and I think he's going to contribute to our ball club this year. He looks good.
How many decisions, I'm not going to ask you what they are, but how many decisions do you have left for the roster for Monday?
Well, we have probably 3 or 4. We have the original personnel meeting, then we have a staff meeting, then we have a smaller coaches meeting, and today it was Buck and myself and Ned Rice. So we're getting down there to the nitty-gritty. But spring training is a time to take a look at everybody you have on your roster and everybody that you have in your organization that you think can help the team. And Buck does a great job giving players opportunity after opportunity. Even the players that we don't think are going to help our team, he gives them plenty of opportunity to show what they can do in spring training. And that's really what it's all about, finding out how you can employ your guys during the season to help you win the games. And Buck does a great job calling those kids up from the minor leagues, giving them incentive, and showing them how the leaders on this team operate as players. It's just a really good thing to build an organization, and Buck's really good at that.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. A lot of the younger players that the Orioles have seen come up through the minor leagues the last couple of years have been exposed in spring training. So they're familiar with the players on the team. They get comfortable with that, and it's not as much of an adjustment if they get called up midseason.
Exactly. And then they know what the organization expects. If you're going to play for the Orioles, you're going to have a good glove. You're going to be able to play good defense in the field. And probably you're going to have to be a power hitter too. You're going to have to hit the ball out of the ballpark here and there.
3-ball, 2-strike count, 1 down. Orioles have tied the ball game up here with a run in the second inning. Runners on at first and third base. Shelby Miller delivers, and that ball towards the gap in right center field. Young giving chase. He'll get it. Tag up at third by Manny Machado, and he will score. The Orioles have the lead. So Caleb Joseph picks up the RBI and the sac fly. Orioles with a couple of runs in here in the inning, and bear in mind, as Mike said, Machado reached on that beautiful bunt.
Yeah, a nice inning offensively here. And Caleb Joseph, the Orioles have struggled a little bit with runners at third base, even though I guess the numbers would say that they're about average in Major League Baseball.
Well, last year we were above average. I know it's painful to watch, but last year we were above average. But a lot of really good things in our offensive execution tonight. You see the 2 balls up the middle, Caleb Joseph going the other way for the sac fly, the bunt by Manny. That's pretty encouraging.
Sure is.
So 2 down. Alejandro De Aza will probably have a chance there, Dan, for just one more question. Dan Duquette, Vice President of Operations for the Orioles. How much of a problem is the 25-man roster and the 40-man roster in making your final decisions?
Well, within the constraints of the roster, we do a pretty good job of flexibility. It's a lot easier when you have players that have options that you can bring them up and down. The players that are out of options and you have to get the permission of the other clubs to move their contracts around, that really restricts your flexibility. So, we don't have all that much flexibility in our bullpen this year. Like Brad Brock is out of options, so he'll be on the ball club. But we do have some younger players that gives us some flexibility. And we use more than just the 25. It's like a 45-man roster by the time Buck gets done. So we use a lot of people, but we understand that we got to have depth, and we got to be nimble, and we have to have some alert players. So that's how we go about putting together our team. And I think people understand who we are and how we're going to use the entire roster. I mean, not just in Baltimore, but down in Norfolk and sometimes even in Bowie.
Well, you know, that's really attractive, I think, to a lot of free agents because they've seen the moves that have been made over the last couple of years, and there's opportunities all over the place.
Right, and our young players, when they see us bring up a player from Double-A like Manny Machado or Caleb Joseph, who both came to the ball club from Bowie without, well, Manny didn't even spend any time at Triple-A, and Caleb, I think, spent a couple of weeks in Triple-A. You know, they know that by extension, they can help the ball club by being in Double-A just as well as they can in Triple-A.
All right, Orioles, another base hit as Diaz is on with a single. That's 4 base hits they picked up here in the second inning, giving Pierce the chance with runners on at first and second and 2 down. Miller now touched up for 5 hits by the Orioles, who've taken the 2-1 lead. Breaking ball will be in there for a strike. Dan, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I know it's been a trying spring with the injuries and trying to get through all the options and availabilities. Good luck in the final.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and look forward to a good season and look forward to a good opening day in Baltimore next week. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Dan Duquette, Vice President of Operations for the Orioles, hit him on the back, and that'll load him up. That one just got away. It was a breaking ball that didn't do anything. Though the Orioles' long second inning here continues against Shelby Miller.
Yeah, Miller kind of laboring through here. Pierce just turning proper way, turning away from the baseball, take it in the back. A lot better than, he didn't like it though. Even though it's the right way to get out of the way, it still hurts.
Roger McDowell, who is the pitching coach for the Atlanta Braves, go to the mound here and try and settle Miller down. Shelby Miller is going to be one of the starters for this Atlanta Braves ball club. He will be in their starting rotation. They have also set their starting rotation. Julio Teheran will be the opening day starter. Alex Wood will be second. Then Miller will be third in line. Eric Stutz, who has just been decided upon today to be their 5th in the rotation, actually is going to fill the 4 spot apparently. And Trevor Cahill, Dan was talking about Cahill being acquired in a deal yesterday. He will be in the number 5 spot for the Atlanta Braves for their rotation. Chris Davis, bases are loaded. Shift is on. Into the shift at first. Ooh. Johnson's got it and will take it to the bag to record the out. The Orioles, though, get a couple of runs. They do it on 4 hits, leave the sacks full. Goes up 2-1. And only a few days away, and the best way to secure your spot for all the action is the Orioles' full or partial season plan for the games back home. Season plan members get exclusive ticket savings, most flexible exchange policy in baseball, access to postseason tickets, and many orange carpet benefits. So don't miss an inning of the excitement. Go to Orioles.com/tickets or call 888-848-BIRD. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick with you. Great to have you with us here this beautiful Friday night, Sarasota, Florida, the site. Orioles' last game here at home for spring training, and then one more against these Braves tomorrow in this weird 3-game set of spring training games at the end of the season. Jimenez now with a 2-1 lead. Long rest over there as the Orioles sent 8 to the plate in that second inning. Here is Jace Peterson. Peterson, the second baseman, an RBI double in the first. The off-speed delivery will miss outside. Orioles, of course, one less decision to be made. Logan Verrett, Rule 5 player, was picked up when the Orioles tried to put him through waivers. He's going back home, actually, to Texas, and will be with the Rangers unless they, too, make a decision not to keep him, but I don't think so. He tweeted after the announcement, headed back to Texas, couldn't be happier. His family's back there, but he added, that being said, thank you to the Orioles for the opportunity. First-class organization with first-class people. Enjoyed it there.
Yeah, well, he really did a great job, and it seemed like he was part of this team right from the beginning of spring, mixed in very well, and that's one of the big things they're going to miss. I mean, obviously, you take a chance when you bring a Rule 5 player into camp. As we take a look at this beautiful 2-seamer running back over and catching that inside corner, freezing Peterson up. But, you know, I think he did what he had to do. He pitched really well. Certainly would have fit on in this rotation or in the bullpen. There just wasn't enough room, and unfortunately had to put him out there. And everybody needs pitching, and getting claimed was great for him, and obviously to be able to head back home.
Yep, good for him, and wish him well. Here's Freddie Freeman. Freeman, a strikeout victim, his first time up. He'll pop that one way up in the air against the shift. The Ayers are coming hard. He'll make the call and put it away. So Freeman is retired. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Jimenez now has walked only 1 and struck out 4. And Buck Showalter really wanted to get him in this game. He hasn't pitched here at Ed Smith Stadium this spring. He wanted him to react to the crowd, react to somewhat of a home crowd, react to a starting lineup, which is what the Atlanta Braves put out there in this ball game because it is the Friday before the Monday home opener. And the pitch will miss outside for a ball. Here's Kelly Johnson, drew a walk his first time up.
Now, you know, our Buck loves to check the stats and the matchups and see how things go. And you wonder, this being Ubaldo's first home start, the ball fades foul down the left field line. If he planned on it being against Atlanta, because Ubaldo has thrown a no-hitter in his career, and it was against the Braves back in 2010, you wonder, well, maybe he has this unbelievable confidence against this team, and what a way to start the season, you know, with going against a team that he feels really good about and confident.
Build up that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's got to be some lingering effect of throwing a no-hitter. Yeah. No matter who was in the opposing lineup at the time and how different it may be now, it's still the uniform of the Atlanta Braves, as you say, Mike. Kelly Johnson. There aren't a lot of things that happen on a day-to-day basis with Buck Showalter and the Orioles that isn't planned.
Right, you're right.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and just missed. Jimenez thought he had that. He was ready to take his place in the dugout that time. Wasn't given the call, though. Chad Fairchild, veteran home plate umpire, working our spring training game. Kelly Johnson, 2-2 delivery to him, and he will tap that one outside of third base and foul.
Ubaldo's done a nice job here the last couple innings, keeping that fastball down in the zone. We've seen the really good movement. He throws Peterson on that 2-seamer running back over the inside corner and just missed that low strike call.
31-year-old delivers, and another one. Reached down for and fouled off. Jimenez having to throw a few extra pitches here in this one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 down. Jimenez, as we mentioned at the top of the program, would probably be in the rotation the second time around. Boy, did he jelly-leg him on that one. A great off-speed breaking ball. Retires the side in order, and that's 5 Jimenez strikeouts. If you can't be here, at least be there. I want to remind you that next Saturday, April 11, you can enjoy the season's first night game at Camden Yards as the Birds and the Blue Jays will be on at 7:05, and the first 20,000 15 and over will get the 2014 American League East champion wall art. This orange canvas art, perfect for hanging in any room in the home, and for Orioles fans, a great addition to their collection. Celebrate last year's amazing season and enjoy a great night of baseball. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. That's going to be next Saturday, the 11th. Adam Jones will lead it off for the Orioles. Lots of youngsters on hand. Manny with a fan. Right there. 2-1 O's up. 2-5-0 for the Orioles. 1-3-0 for the Braves. Adam Jones flying out to center field his first time up. Outfield shaded to right. Infield straight up. And the pitch taken inside for a ball.
You see Miller on the command problems here in this ball game. That second inning, he was leaving some pitches over the plate, and the Orioles offense really took advantage of it. The singles, able to put a couple marks on the board, but you can see why he has had success in his young career here to start. Good movement on the fastball, 93 to 96 miles an hour that, and the big curveball, but when you're not commanding it as well as he'd hoped, then hitters can be more patient and just look for a pitch up and out over.
That one will be back out over the top and out of play by Adam Jones. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles trying to wrap up their spring training games here at home tonight with a victory. It's been a struggle here at Ed Smith Stadium for some reason. They're only 3-10 in games played here for Buck Showalter's ball club. They're 11-18-2 overall this spring. The Braves 14-16-2. 1-2 delivery, and again that'll be fouled back. Orioles play in Orlando against the Braves tomorrow. They are scheduled to have a workout day on Sunday, and then play ball on Monday.
Here we go. These guys are ready to go. It's been a long spring. Guys have gotten their work in. I think many of them have already started the grind. You see some helmets and bats being thrown, the frustration the baseball brings on everybody. So I think this is what players want. They're itching right now for everything to count and the numbers to really mean something. And they've certainly had enough games under their belt and experience here this spring. Get ready to go for a good season.
Great location right there by Miller, who gets his first strikeout on 1 down and in to Adam Jones. First out here in the 3rd.
Yeah, great movement here. Starting off on the corner and this running down and in on Adam Jones. It just takes off in there under the hands and get the strikeout.
Still a sun-drenched crowd down the line and left. Sunset time here at the ballpark. Here is Snyder. He delivered a single, led off the 2nd inning with it, and would come around to score. Travis Snyder. Dan was talking about the power expected out of his bat and adding to the offense, both with some extra base hits and some RBIs. 250 here with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, double in the spring numbers so far for Travis Snyder.
Well, he's looked good. He's worked hard. Adjusting obviously to the new team, but he has fit right in. Evidently he had a great time in the talent show that the Orioles had a couple days ago, and you know, I think he's going to be very productive in Camden Yards. I think another year of experience. Now here's a guy that was called up to the big leagues at a very young age. He was a top prospect. They thought he was just going to mow it down in the big leagues, and unfortunately he's had some setbacks. He's been up and down a lot of his career. You know, so he's looking to try to get more at-bats in the big leagues and really kind of reestablish himself as an everyday player in the game. And he's still a very young player, much like this Orioles team.
Snyder will take the pitch, and he will draw the walk, and there's the on-base percentage kind of thing that Dan was also talking about. And Duquette, who's president of operations for the Orioles. Mike Showalter always happy. See guys get on base with a free pass, as the Orioles won a lot of those course of last season. 1 on, 1 down. Manny Machado, base hit, did it on a beautiful bunt down the 3rd base side, and then would come around to score. RBIs picked up by Flaherty and Joseph on a single and a sacrifice fly, respectively. Manny with 1 down. Most of the Orioles starters are not going to go to Orlando for the ball game tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's been a pretty demanding spring, really, travel-wise for this team. I think they had 3 or 4 more road games, and so they have been doing a lot of traveling here. A lot of the regulars have had to get on a bus and go, and so, you know, Buck doesn't want them to make that trip over to Orlando. They've done enough of the traveling. It's time to really get the mind right and ready for the season.
Pitch will be taken. 1 ball, 1 strike count to Machado with a runner on at first base. Snyder. Not a big lead over there. Johnson holding the bag on him. Bethancourt is the starting catcher for the Atlanta Braves, working behind the plate in this game. Fastball, that'll ride up and in, 94 miles an hour, and a 2 ball, 1 strike count. So if Paredes is added to the DL, which, as you heard Dan say, probably will be, he's going to join Matt Wieters. He's going to join David Lowe and J.J. Hardy on the DL to start the year. That one will go to shortstop. Flip made over to first base, and they get it. Simmons to Peterson to Johnson. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. It is a 2-1 O's lead after 3. Join us Monday. The Orioles open up 15th season in Tampa, 3 against the Rays. Our coverage on Masson 2 begins at 2:30 with O's Extra on Monday, presented by Jeep, followed by our game action at 3 o'clock 3 o'clock for the game. All the access you need right here on Mass.
Well, let's take a look ahead. Last season, the Rays 77-85 record, finishing 4th in the American League East. Take a look at the pitching, though. Always had good arms, but it's the runs per game that really cost them last in the American League. Of course, Kevin Cash, the new manager for the Rays, and John Jaso coming in to catch and be the DH there. They still have a pretty good nucleus of players. Longoria, of course, there. Loney, Jennings. Picked up veteran Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop. And they're waiting for the health of their rotation. They've been decimated with injuries already.
Ball line to center field. Stays up. Chris Johnson. Hard hit ball. But Adam Jones right there to put it away. Johnson has flied out twice in the ball game. We were in the 4th inning. And one away. Yeah, I think there are a lot of teams around Major League Baseball that it's very hard to define or predict what they're really going to have for a season. I think the Orioles are kind of like that. I think, honestly, the Orioles are a lot better off than a lot of ball clubs because of the depth we've talked about. But Tampa Bay is one of those teams, I don't know. I mean, even their pitching with 3 starters down looks pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have some good arms. They had some good arms that they called up in spring training that the Orioles got a chance to see. So there are some arms waiting in the wings if they need them. I think they, like a lot of teams, are going to try to keep their head above water for a month or two until they get some of their starters back and hope that the guys that come in can do that kind of job.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, as it always is, but I think this year more than ever. You just don't have clubs jumping out at you. You would say, well, there's the team you got to beat, there's the team you got to beat. It's like everybody's got to beat everybody around Major League Baseball. The Nationals ought to have a great season with a really outstanding looking ball club. Great talent. Swung on and foul tip. That one got both Joseph and Fairchild, the home plate umpire. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Johnny Gomes.
I think that one got Caleb Joseph on the thumb. A lot of times catchers wear that thumb guard, but you see him turn the glove over. The foul ball catches, and it really rips the thumb apart. And shaking it out. May have to get one of those casts made for his thumb. You see some of the catchers have.
Count remains at 2-2. Gomes, a strikeout victim, his first time up. He'll go with that one down to third, and that will be a foul. Interesting news today on one who's not going to be missing any time, Josh Hamilton of the Angels. They found that even though he had a backtrack in drug and alcohol problems that he admitted, they had an arbitration, and the arbitrator ruled he did not violate his current program. Both Major League Baseball and the Angels said, in effect, are you kidding? 2-2 delivery on the way. Gomes will go towards the hole with this one. Long throw for Cabrera, and got him! Outstanding play from shallow left field, Everett Cabrera.
Beautiful play. Great transition right there from Cabrera. Glove to hand. You see Manny ranging to his left, just out of his reach. But boom, ball gets in the glove. Ball is gone, on its way to first. Nice little pick there by Davis. Good play. Those are the plays deep in the hole that test the shortstop. Are you a Major League shortstop or not? Cabrera proved that he can do it.
Real good defensive help behind Jimenez, and there are 2 down. Catcher will pop that one up. Bethancourt down to first. Manny Machado in to get it, and gets it. A 1-2-3 inning. That's going to be 8 in a row retired by Jimenez, and protects the Orioles 2-1 lead. Great idea. The kids get to enjoy their own opening day. It'll be Sunday, April 12th. The Birds will be taking on the Jays, 1:35. Families invited to the season's first Sunday home opener. There'll be braided necklaces for the first 7,500 kids 14 and under. Chance for all fans 14 and under to run the bases after the game. And several lucky kids will have an opportunity to participate in something they'll never forget, delivering the lineup card to home plate or taking the field with the team to the national anthem. So don't miss out on it. Opening day, Sunday, April 12th for kids. For tickets, go to Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Youngsters like that have a day of their own for opening day.
Wow. Good news. I only have 2 kids now under 14.
Wow.
Right?
What time you started a new family, don't you? Stock up on braided necklaces.
Right?
That's great. Shelby Miller on the mound. Everett Cabrera. The fine defensive play gets to lead it off here. Cabrera, Flaherty, and Joseph. Cabrera base hit, RBI, second inning. Sac fly, Joseph also in that second inning when the Orioles sent 8 to the plate and got their 2 runs on 4 hits. That'll go to short. Simmons, quick throw. Boy, quick release. And records the out. Again, you see the speed and the effect it has on defense. Simmons really hustled.
Yeah, well, Simmons, I don't know that he's affected by it too much. He was a Platinum Glove winner, like Manny Machado, 2 of the best defenders in their respective leagues. He won it a couple years ago, like Manny, and a couple plays, testers here. Punched one up the line, but that one pretty smooth for Simmons.
Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty will take the first pitch. Did he go? Nope. So probably Flaherty in at short for game 1. Think?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, but
just a matchup, right?
You know, it's going to be they're facing Archer, so you think they want the lefties in. I think Ryan Flaherty has been swinging the bat pretty well here the last week or so. He looks good at the plate, hit some balls hard in yesterday's ball game, but he has so much value coming off the bench too. So it's obviously up to Buck.
That'll be played on the warning track or near to it by Johnny Gomes. Flaherty is retired. This is a probable starting lineup for the Orioles against Tampa Bay on Monday. Could very well be Cabrera in at shortstop. You see the news today at the bottom. Brady's is going to go on the DL. The lower back working out today in the weight room. On the bench you have Cabrera if Flaherty starts. Lavarnway the backup catcher probably. Reimold in the outfield, and then who? Going to make some choices there. And that's what is left to be done by the Orioles here this weekend, assuming, of course, there are no other injuries.
Yeah, a couple of those question marks. Dan mentioned Nolan Reimold and also Clevenger. So those 2 guys have an opportunity to be there opening day.
Buck Showalter said before the game today, and I was talking with him, he said he thinks there will be 2 or 3 cuts right after this game. Ground ball to second base on a hop. Peterson is there. He'll make the play, and that will retire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning for Miller. Showalter, decisions in baseball. Orioles have a 2-1 lead. Jimenez making the start of this game, and a good one.
Ubaldo, he's been pitching well here his last 3-4 starts. He got in a jam in the first inning, but he settled down and he had all of his stuff working. You see the big breaking ball right there, but he was great with the 2-seam fastball. He looked like his changeup was working well, keeping it down in the zone. Another good outing for Ubaldo.
And he joins us, Ubaldo Jimenez. Thank you very much. Good outing.
Thank you, guys. How you doing?
Good, very good. Probably not as good as you right now, but pretty good. What do you think is this spring has been the most important thing for you in advancing your cause with this rotation?
Well, since day one, the first thing that I had in my mind is getting myself ready for the season. I know it's last year was really tough for me, and then my mechanic was a mess. Since I got here, I just been working on mechanics and trying to get everything going.
How was your relationship with Ramon Martinez? I know Dave Wallace talked to him or talked about him earlier today.
It's been great. You know, I know Ramon from a couple years ago back in the Dominican Republic, and since he got here, that was after my first game in spring training. He's been there for me every day. We've been watching videos, we've been working on mechanics. You know, he's a nice guy and he knows a lot about baseball, and he's a good teacher too.
Ground ball out to start the inning, and one away. You saw Brad Brock, 28-year-old right-hander, has come on for the Orioles.
Yeah. Well, hey, Ubaldo, what do you think is the pitch that is most important for you right now?
Fastball. That's the number one thing. I had to be able to command my fastball, and that's been my 2-seam fastball, and then I can throw all of the pitches after that.
Do you understand, Ubaldo, that are you going to be in the bullpen for the first time around the rotation, do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever they want me to do, I'm going to be ready for it.
No question this spring, though. There's the bunt down to Brock. Bear hands it. Wow.
Nice play.
Pretty good D right there on Todd Cunningham trying to lay down the bunt for the base hit.
Yeah, Brad Brock hopping off the mound. Brad Brock's going to play a crucial role in this Orioles bullpen. See him get over there. Knows the only play he's really going to have is a bare hand play. Sure enough, catches it clean. Strong throw to Davis.
Ubaldo Jimenez started tonight joining us. Well, I was going to say, one of the things you certainly have gotten to this spring is cutting down the number of pitches thrown. Efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Something you're working on?
Yeah, and that's having a good command on the fastball. That's been the main thing this year. Because last year, the first hitter that I probably faced, I was going to be behind the count. And that's what made me throw a lot of pitches.
All right. Ubaldo, congratulations on what's a really fine spring that you've wrapped up. And we'll be talking to you starting on Monday with the regular season. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Ubaldo Jimenez, the starter who worked the 4 innings, gave up only 1 run, 3 hits. He walked only 1. He struck out 5 through 60 pitches through 4 innings of the ball game. And has made his statement. I mean, that's it. That's his spring. He's done everything he can do now as to make the impression he wanted to make on the Orioles.
Well, and I think he made the right one. He really did. He had a lot to prove coming into camp, and he had the right attitude. He worked hard. He finished the camp really strong. I mean, every outing it seemed like he was getting better and better. And you mentioned that Toronto start. He was going against their A team when he threw 6 strong innings.
Brock comes on in a hurry, gets a strikeout, and has a 1-2-3 inning. Orioles 2, Braves 1. 13 through Wednesday, April 15. Good seats still remain for each game in that 3-game set, including the first Ollie's Bargain Night presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet Tuesday. Upper reserve seats only $10 when purchased in advance. For tickets, Orioles.com, 888-848-BIRD. Orioles Yankees, April 13, 14, 15. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Beautiful night here in Sarasota. Down to 77 degrees right now. We started at 80. And the breeze dying down a little bit. Couldn't be nicer. And it's Friday night, so you don't have to go to bed real early. So you get up, you jump your bunch around here and bother your parents. Eat as much cotton candy as possible. 0-1 pitch on the way will be taken inside. Alejandro Diaz has singled and grounded out. The kids probably never ate sweets, so you didn't have a problem with that.
Oh, boy.
Oh, they took after their father. 1-1 delivery on the way. That'll be put over the air left center field. And well, there is a little breeze blowing that way. Goodbye, home run! Alejandro Diaz with a solo shot here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And the Orioles have a 3-1 lead.
Well, Dan Duquette was talking about Diaz's power. He could sneak up on you and pop some out. It's a fastball on that outer third. Hammers it deep to left center. Great swing by Diaz.
Didn't need any breeze on that one to put it out of the ballpark.
He really does have a short swing. I've had the pleasure of throwing batting practice to him, and he is direct to the baseball. Short to it, long through it, right there. 380 feet over the fence.
3rd home run of the season for Diaz for the Orioles. They have the spring lead of 37 home runs now. They've out-homered opponents 37-34. 0-1 delivery on the way, hit hard to third base. Kelly Johnson off the side saddle makes the play on Steve Pearce. 1 out.
It was a side saddle right there. He's shaking his head. He couldn't see the ball. Steve Pearce whistling one down there at him.
Yeah, it's over the towel and the home run and a starting job in the Orioles in left field. That'll be Chris Davis. Upshift will be put on. Kelly Johnson moves all the way from 3rd to 2nd. In this shift that we see so many teams employ. They leave Simmons at his shortstop position with the range and arm that he has to cover all of that left side. And Chris will take the pitch for his strike. He has doubled, grounded out in the ball game. The Orioles now 3 runs, 6 hits to the Braves, 1 run on 3. 0-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be powered foul the other way.
I like that. Chris has been working hard on driving the ball to the opposite field. Got in some struggles last year. A little too pull happy, so this spring trying to get back to using the whole field. One of his drills is not even using the lower half. Just uses his hands, slap the ball around a little bit like the old Pepper game.
Yeah.
So he's feeling good about controlling that bat head, but they're giving chase to the high fastball. 94 up and out of the zone.
So Davis retired, the second out of the inning. Walk and a couple of strikeouts picked up by Miller.
That's a live fastball. There's some life up there in the top of the zone. He knows it. When he starts his swing, he realizes he chases one.
Adam Jones coming up, run in, homer by De Aza. Jones has struck out and flied out so far in the ball game. Adam will go after the first pitch. Hits off the plate. Tough play. Peterson gets it there in time, and a nice pick made by Johnson. That'll retire the side. A run in on one hit. Alejandro De Aza leading off the inning, shooting a ball the other way over that left center field fence for a 3-1 O's lead. Another great crowd on hand here at Smith Stadium in Sarasota. The Orioles have averaged home attendance of just under 7,500 a ball game. That's going to be upped by this crowd that's here tonight, the final game of the spring here at Ed Smith.
And Brian Mattis now in relief. 7 games this spring. He's had himself a real strong spring. Gets extended out through 4 innings in the middle of camp. Now he's back down to 1-2 innings, but he has been strong. 12 strikeouts, no walks. Had command of all of his pitches. Has been able to locate his fastball in and out. Changeup's been the big pitch, especially to the right-handed hitters, something he's been working on.
Chase Peterson batting second in the order, RBI double, and called out on strikes, lefty against lefty here. New battery as Steve Clevenger has come on now to do the catching for the Orioles, with Caleb Joseph out of the lineup, having made the start. In at third base, Machado just off the grass. Pitch will be taken away. Clevenger happy to be playing here tonight. During batting practice, he took a ball to the side of the head, right on the eye area. When they were taking infield practice, he was by the cage and the ball got away and hit him right in the head. But he continued on with BP and obviously is all right. Ball popped up in the air and headed out. Also worthy of note, Ubaldo Jimenez took that line drive back off the foot in the ball game early in the game, stayed on and did not affect his performance. So fortunately, that one got him more on the shoe than it did on the foot, and that'll make the trainer mighty happy.
Yeah, it sure will. I mean, there were a lot of people holding their breath, I think, in the Orioles dugout. And Dan Duquette up here, narrowly missing potential injury, bad injury.
He retired. Jimenez did the last 8 in a row. The last 11 Braves have been retired. They've not had a base runner since the second inning on a single by Simmons. 2-ball, 2-strike count to Peterson. He'll loop that one in the air towards left field. Good speed out there in De Aza. He'll get help though. Cabrera coming over the shortstop. 1 away, 6th inning.
And Cabrera getting a good angle on that ball. Manny backpedaling, almost ready to settle underneath it. But Cabrera doing the right thing, giving him a call up.
1 away. Here is Joe Benson coming to the plate for Freddie Freeman. He's talking with some of the Braves folks tonight. This is a non-roster invitee who is going to make the ball club. Benson has played really well for them. Braves like what they have seen, and it looks like he starts the season on the roster, hitting .412. He's 7 for 17, a home run, 3 RBIs. And Freddie Gonzalez and staff so happy with what they've seen out of him that made the decision for a non-roster player to make it. Doesn't happen a lot. I mean, there are some each season who come out of that non-roster invitee status and suddenly find themselves on a ball club, and it looks like for Joe Benson that'll be the case with he and the Braves.
Yeah, a lot of times when you get invited to camp, the only chance you have is to do something pretty incredible. You saw his numbers up there hitting over 400, but you also have to show the intangibles, your work ethic, how you get along with your teammates, and obviously he's done a lot of things well this camp, and good for him.
Yeah, it's a great tribute to him in the work ethic. I mean, he's had some notoriety in his pro career so far, but I really think anybody expected he was going to be on the ball club. 2-1 delivery on the way, and Benson will foul that one off at the plate. Orioles with a 3-1 lead in this ball game. Lost to the Braves. A couple of runs scored by Atlanta the 9th inning, and the game yesterday. Played over in Orlando. Trying to make sure that doesn't happen again here in this one. Benson out of Chicago. Joliet Catholic Academy. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way, and that one is right there for a strike in Brian Mattis' case.
Nice job locking him up with the good fastball right on the inside corner. Obviously looking for something off speed. Just a little bit of a buckle there as that 90-mile-an-hour fastball sneaks by Benson.
So Benson retired. That'll bring up Kelly Johnson. Johnson has struck out and walked in the ball game. Johnson with the start at third base. Shift will be employed against him. Inside fastball by Brian Mattis. Will miss. Orioles in their shift move the shortstop Cabrera out to shallow right field. 1-0 delivery. Mattis takes a little off that all the way down to 83 miles an hour, and that one had him off pace at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
A nice breaking ball right there. Of course, Brian, we've talked about him wanting to be a starter again. Has all the pitches, and that's why he's been so effective coming out of the pen. He's able to utilize those weapons against lefties. See the big breaking ball there, the good fastball. So he has the ability to throw all of his pitches for strikes. It's the trouble spot is how do you get a righty out, and being able to develop that changeup a little bit more has helped, and that's why he's had the success here in spring.
That'll be foul back. Kelly Johnson now with a 2 ball, 2 strike count. 3 starts, of course. Brian Mattis outstanding in his performances in those situations. Then back into the bullpen. Last outing against the Pirates, he worked a couple of innings, gave up a run on 4 hits in that ball game. 2-2 delivery on the way. But Buck Showalter was right, and before the ball game, saying there would be 2 or 3 cuts after the game. He said maybe even more, as he put it, once things get finished, whatever that means. So we'll see after the ball game tonight, but Oriole fans keep an eye on that, because if that's true, then the roster's really going to be close to what it's going to be for opening day by tonight. 3 ball, 2 strike count on Johnson.
Some tough decisions, and I think really in these type of spots, the only saving grace, I guess, for a player that potentially gets sent down is the fact that they do make so many moves during the season.
Yeah. Brian Mattis is going to be coming out of the ball game, I believe, here, as Buck Showalter wants to get people in for final work here for those who will be roster players. So Brian Mattis will come out of there. 2 down here in the 6th inning, a runner on, and the Orioles up by 2. Well, we're talking about the bullpen, Mike. Take a look at what it looks like right now.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate because there really can't be a lot of movement. There's a lot of bullpen pieces that are out of options, and so you got to really stick with what you have, and these guys have all earned the right to be here as well. Zach Britton's pitched very well. O'Day, who's in the game right now, has pitched well. Mattis has pitched well. Hunter Wright's pitched well from the left side. Brad Brock and Gosman, of course, is a question mark whether or not to be in the starting rotation, so he'd certainly land in the pen. The other options, Webb, Garcia, McFarland. Garcia, Rule 5 pick from the Red Sox, and McFarland, one of the only guys with options, so he potentially could be sent down, and if they do, I know there's been a lot of talk about him being a potential starter, and the fact that there's so many free agents next year, you never know that they're going to do that, but good options.
And here is Darren O'Day coming on to work with 2 down and 1 on at first base, facing Chris Johnson, who has flied out twice in the ballgame. Kelly Johnson is the base runner at first, being held by Davis. O'Day with his delivery, and there's that off-speed pitch from down under. Well, you can get some terrible-looking swings when he delivers that pitch, because it is.
Yeah. Oof. And if you're not familiar with facing Darren O'Day, that slider, it's coming in, and it kind of hovers out there, and it looks like it's just going to stay true, and it just disappears off that outside corner, sometimes breaking 2 feet off the outside corner.
Jump throw over to first base. O'Day has been very effective, as the Orioles had hoped. Day has worked a lot of games.
Checking out his son.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 away. And a swing and a miss by Chris Johnson.
A healthy cut right there on the slider. Well located down and away. And Chris Johnson's had some real good years, some monster years with the Braves here. Just out of his reach. But you see that healthy cut that he takes. It's good power potential. 12, 10 home runs back-to-back years. And then, of course, the batting average back in 2013 well up over 300, 321. So he can be a force there at the plate. A little bit of a down year last year, only hitting 263. So he's looking to increase that batting average, and you know the power is going to increase as well.
2-2 delivery on the way, and it will be fouled off. This is going to be the first time this spring that Darren O'Day has not worked and has worked something other than an inning. In his previous 10 outings this spring, every outing has been for 1 inning. So just to give him a little different look here, he comes in, works out of the stretch with a runner on base. He won't do that a lot if things are going well for the Orioles. Delivery, and there's the pitch, and he's called up. Going around on the one Mike was just talking about by home plate umpire Chad Fairchild. So no runs, no hits, base runner left on, a 3-1 Orioles lead. For Jimenez, and in the start tonight, indeed he did. Got some help offensively. The Orioles got a couple of runs in that second inning. He then got some strikeouts, a fine defensive play by Cabrera, and De Aza added another with a solo shot. Put the Orioles up by a score of 3-1. That's where we are right now. It is a full moon night, and is it ever, here in this clear sky. And that will be it for Miller, the starter for Atlanta. Avalon comes on to pitch.
Yeah, he's had himself a good spring. 8 games. Going to be in this bullpen. 2.25 earned run average. Pretty good arm. Can get that fastball. Works it in the low 90s, 93, 94 miles an hour. As a curveball change to go along with it.
Avalon is a big kid, 6'2", 220, out of Caracas, Venezuela. Worked last year with the Braves in 62 games, 4-1 record. All of them coming out of the bullpen. And he will be there again this year, the left-hander. And the pitch will be taken for a strike by Travis Snyder. Snyder with a walk, single, run scored that came in the second inning when he got a leadoff single. RBIs by Everett Cabrera and Caleb Joseph in that second inning for the Orioles. Then De Aza with a home run you just saw. Braves scored in the first, RBI double, Jace Peterson. And then the Oriole pitching has really settled in. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Snyder. Machado and Cabrera due up for the Orioles, playing here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Avilon out of that set. And 1 around on it. Not hold up on the check swing, and the count goes 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A real good slider right there, well located down and away. And these are the type of tests here for Travis Snyder and most lefties. They want to see more playing time, put together some good at bats against a left-handed pitcher.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Avalon just missed, leaned in wanting it, didn't get it. It decent number against left-handers last year, but not big. 264 for Avalon. Lefties against him. Right-handers hit 312 off Avalon last year. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And there's the changeup, and there's the strikeout.
Got it there. He went back-to-back with a big breaking ball here. Took a little bit more off that one. Felt like he had it the first time. Right back to it. Gets Snyder out in front. Strike 3.
So Avalon comes on with a K. Miller worked 3 innings, 6 hits. 5 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, with a walk and 2 strikeouts, giving up the home run to De Aza. Here's Manny Machado. Manny did had a base hit, run scored it into a double play. He'll take the lefty's pitch away for a ball. Orioles, as part of their community support here in Sarasota, St. Patrick's Day, they wear the green hats, and then those hats are auctioned off to raise money for a local organization. It was the Marie Selby Botanical Gardens who benefited this year. The Green Hat auction raised $7,900 for Selby Gardens, which is a beautiful site off Tamiami Trail on Route 41 in downtown Sarasota. If you ever come to Sarasota and visit, Selby Gardens is a place you'll want to go to. Lovely grounds on the Gulf. On the inside corner, it is a strike. And Machado with a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Boy, that's some gas in there, too. 95 miles an hour. And on pitch before, he throws a real good change where he turned it over 83 miles an hour. Had some nice fade down and away. And just busts him in, 95. Thought he might save that for a strikeout pitch. See what he comes with next.
Put that one down low. Bethancourt making the save on it. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Manny Machado. One down, followed by Cabrera in this lineup. Chris Davis getting a start at first base in the ball game, and all of these players really looking forward to Monday and getting things going against the Rays. Here's the 2-2 by the left-hander. That'll be shot up the middle on a big hop. Peterson's got it. Long throw is there. 2 down. With the start of the season, I was looking at some of the milestone numbers just to see for the coming year what's on tap. Interestingly, A-Rod figures big in milestone numbers starting this year. He only has 61 hits to go to reach 3,000.
Wow.
61. And he's only going to need 81 runs to get to 2,000 runs scored, which would be 8th all time in runs scored. And he'd only be the 29th player in baseball history to reach 3,000 if he gets that far. Ball into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Cabrera just continues his sensational spring. He's had 2 singles and an RBI now in this ball game. That one comes from 2 down.
A pretty impressive swing here. Now from the right side, backing up the high fastball, driving it to right field. We saw a couple days ago from the right side, powered one over the left field wall, so showing he can spray the ball all over the field, make a mistake up in the zone. He's going to put a good swing on it.
Cabrera keeps it alive for the Orioles in the inning. 7 hits for the O's now. That'll bring up Ryan Flaherty, who's hit into a fielder's choice, and he is flied out. He'll take the pitch inside for a ball. A-Rod also is only 31 RBIs away from 2,000. He would be the 4th player ever to reach that mark. Ruth, Aaron, and Cap Anson. 1-0 count with 2 down. And apparently things are going pretty well for him in camp. It's been quiet. He's hitting the long ball, hitting the ball hard apparently. I mean, who knows what that's going to look like, but once in a blue moon, somebody could make that kind of a, not having played for 2 years and come back and star again.
Right. How many home runs does he need?
5? No, I don't know. I didn't do the home run. The home run department, you got Beltre, needs only 5 to 400. And Miguel Cabrera needs only 10 to 400. We'll check and see on the A-Rod home run number as to where that is. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, some pretty incredible numbers for all those guys.
Joe Nathan's trying to get to 400 saves. He's got 24 to go. He'd be only the 6th pitcher ever to do that, but having some problems. What his spot's going to be. Here's a delayed steal. It didn't work. Cabrera gets thrown out by Bethancourt, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base after 6. 3-1 O's. This season and remains one of the best values for family entertainment at the ballpark. Kids 14 and under get tickets to 10 games, a club hat, membership card, a great sports bag, and more, and it's only $30. Members even get exclusive giveaways at the game, and family and friends. You can get tickets starting as low as $6 with a chance to upgrade to the lower deck. So put your family in the lineup. Go to Orioles.com/dugout club or call 888-848-BIRD. With Mike Bordick, I'm Gary Thorne. Family's on hand here. You remember the Dugout Club right there who wishes her mom wouldn't sing so loud. Here's Jason Garcia.
Garcia, the only remaining Rule 5 pick now in camp for the Orioles, had himself a fine spring, and this is the reason why he's here. .96 earned run average, 11 punch-outs. Does have the 7 walks in his 9 1/3 innings of work, but he's showing some really good stuff. Just 21 years old, has a live fastball, slider that has great depth. He's been able to locate it down and away. Still working on the change a little bit, but boy, a lot of good things coming out of his arm.
Both Mike Showalter and Dan Duquette can't talk highly enough about Garcia. Here is Gomes. He is 0 for 2, robbed of a hit by Cabrera his last time up, and he is struck out. Live fastball, only 22 years old. Dan was telling me, Dan Duquette, before the ball game today, that in some of those games he has pitched in, he has hit the 100-plus mark with that fastball. That he can do that. They don't want him overthrowing, and they're mighty happy to have an elbow left after that one.
Oh, man. Wow. Garcia rushing it up there 95 miles an hour, and Gomes just doesn't even flinch. He'll take one for the team. Looks like it rode right off that left forearm. Close to the elbow. The pad isn't covering it.
Wow. Gomes will come out of the ball game. Pedro Sirocco will come on to run. So Sirocco running. Leadoff man on, 7th inning. Orioles up 3-1. 3-7-0 for the Orioles. 1-3-0. Christian Bethancourt, Braves starting catcher, is grounded out, popped out. Infield goes to double play depth. Swing and a miss and a good breaking ball. Corkscrewed himself into the batter's box on that one.
Yeah, that's a great slider, great depth, great velocity, 86 miles an hour. Coming in looking like a fastball. Oh no, off it goes, down and away. The big swing, gearing up for the heater. He saw the 95 coming in there.
Ground ball back to the mound. Got to play it first. So the runner will move up. Rocco goes to second. Bethancourt is out of there. Moves the runner to second base. Now with one away.
One thing that kind of gets a young pitcher on the map, aside from great stuff, is his makeup. And he's shown great poise this spring. Has handled himself very well. That play right there was an indicator. Didn't rush it. He gave a quick glance to second. Didn't make a hasty decision. Just flipped it on over to first to get that out.
Fastball inside. Andrelton Simmons, their shortstop at the plate. Garcia was born in the Bronx, but went to school for the most part, including high school, Land O'Lakes here in Florida, where he starred in baseball. Last year, working with Class A, Lowell, Greenville. 3-2 with 3 saves. A lot of strikeouts, as you would expect. Just hasn't pitched very much because in 2013 he was only in 9 games and then came out because of injuries. But he can fire, and they really want to be able to keep him on this team. 1 ball, 1 strikeout, 1 down. Breaking ball, that'll be chopped foul on a big cut.
That's one thing I haven't seen him do this spring is make a lot of mistakes with that slider. It's always in a good spot down in the zone and executes it very well. Has good confidence in that pitch. I've seen him double up, even triple up with that pitch.
Dave Wallace watching on the right. John Russell, bench coach, next to him. Garcia, as Mike said, Rule 5 player, so you got to keep him or he runs through waivers and there's no way he clears. That ball down the line goes back to his original team, in fact, if you don't have him on the roster. So, decision.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd see him, if he goes back to the Red Sox, you may see him pitching against the Orioles soon.
1 ball, 2 strike count, runner off second base. And another great pitch moving down and away. And he will get the strikeout, 2 down.
Yeah, really good. Another really good slider. And the depth of this pitch is really what makes it. How far can it hold its head, look like a fastball, or it just bites off the outside corner, and this one gets as close to Simmons as possible. He makes up his mind on the fastball, and away it goes.
That'll bring up Todd Cunningham making the start in right field. Switch hitter is 0 for 2 in the ball game. And that pitch is at the knees on the inside corner. Not agreed with by the hitter, but a strike in any event. Orioles with a 3-1 lead in the game. Hit batter is Gomes. Yarko running for him out there at second base, and Garcia trying to leave him right there. O'Day worked a third of an inning at a strikeout. Mattis 2/3 of an inning, a walk and a strikeout. Brad Brock went an inning at a strikeout, and Ubaldo Jimenez an inning, gave up in 4 innings, gave up a run on 3 hits, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. The Orioles started tonight. Cunningham takes the pitch. That 2 will be there at the knees, and the count goes to 0-2.
You know, a lot of encouragement. I think a lot of, obviously, Dave Wallace, Ramon Martinez, the time he put in here in this spring with Ubaldo, and of course the time that Ubaldo put in. People hoping this was going to be a good start for him. And
Flaherty makes the play over to first base, and that will retire the seventh. 7th inning stretch time, Ed Smith Stadium, Sarasota. Orioles up 3-1. Presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. Delighted to have you with us here in our final broadcast of spring training baseball, heading into the opener Monday. 2:30 O's Extra on Masson 2, followed by the ball game at 3 against the Rays on Monday, as the fans up for the 7th inning stretch. And here is former Orioles closer Jim Johnson.
Yeah, Jim Johnson ended up with Atlanta here. He's been in 6 games. He's looked really sharp this spring. 1.69 earned run average. Typical, not many strikeouts. He's a sinker ball pitcher. It's a firm sinker ball, too. Low to mid-90s. Got the big breaking ball and change as well, but primarily that sinker. And I think coming over to Atlanta, Roger McDowell, the pitching coach here, is certainly going to help him. And I know, as a fan of Jim Johnson, I'd love to see him get back on track because he did some really special things with the Orioles.
Ryan Flaherty will be retired on just 1 pitch. Johnson getting over there to cover. 1 away in the 7th inning. Phil Goslin has come on to play in left field with Gomes coming out of the ball game. Kazmaier is on to play at third base. And Pedro Siriaco came on to pinch run, stays in at shortstop. So there are the changes for the Braves. 1 down, 7th inning. Steve Clevenger will get his first at bat of the game. As we mentioned earlier, with Paredes going on the DL because of the back injury today, back muscle strain, certainly makes Clevenger wonder now, am I going to be there in Tampa Bay on Monday on the roster? 1-0 delivery on the way. That decision I really don't think has been made. I think they'll talk after the ball game. Let Showalter and Duquette figure that out.
Yeah, they haven't named the roster, and Clevenger's still fighting for that backup spot behind the plate too. So
Ian Lavarnway. 2 ball, 1 strike count. For Steve, the wondering goes on a little longer here into this spring training. Jim Johnson with a 2-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled off and out of play. Kelly Johnson has moved over to first base. He was at third. So Kelly Johnson at first for Chris Johnson, who had been there before. And Jim Johnson on the mound. You can call me Jay, are you? 2 ball, 2 strike count. And a swing and a miss. There's the sink.
And real good movement on that pitch from Jim Johnson. 88 miles an hour. Just diving down and away on Clevenger.
Alejandro De Aza has assisted in the offense of the Orioles. Couple of hits last time up in the 5th inning.
Yeah, beautiful swing here. Gets a fastball in the outside corner. Stays on it. Doesn't try to do too much. But the perfect swing gets a good backspin. Out it goes deep left center field.
2 down. Pitch will move away outside. Jim Johnson signed by the Braves, free agent, pitching in Oakland, Detroit last season. De Aza, 1-0 pitch to it, swung out and missed. And the count goes to 1-1. Jim is listed as a setup man for the Braves this season. With the Kimbrel, of course, their great closer. Gurley and Johnson will be 2 of the guys in that setup role out of this bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down. Fired a fastball. It'll move up and out of the strike zone. Take it to 2-1.
If Jim Johnson has anything close to what he did a couple years with the Orioles, he had back-to-back years where he had over 50 saves. They're going to be real tough at the back end of that Braves bullpen. There's some good arms there.
2-1 delivery on the way, showed bunt. Did he go? Check. No. You saw Avilan. He's going to be in that bullpen somewhere in the middle part of it probably. Cody Martin will be in the bullpen. Josh Outman, who probably would have been, has gone on the DL for the Braves. So they'll have to wait him out a little bit to get him back in the bullpen. 3-1 delivery and a fastball right inside. So a really fine night at the plate. De Aza on 3 out of 4 times. Single home run and walk. 2 down, 7th inning.
Yeah, doing a little bit of everything. Seeing the ball very well.
Not many walks tonight. That's only the second by the 3 Braves pitchers, and the Orioles have only 2 for their 5 pitchers used in the ball game so far. 2 down, 1 on for Steve Pearce. Pearce hit by a pitch and has grounded out twice. Ooh! Mercy, he's really not going to like that. What's up with Steve and the Braves?
I think he's got a magnet on his back. This ball just tracking right to the side. Man, right up the hip. 94 miles an hour. Not feeling too good.
Hit by Miller, the starter, now hit by Jim Johnson. So the Orioles have runners on at first and second the hard way. 2 down for Davis, a double. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. And the teammates match up here. Shift put on, of course, against Chris. Adam Jones waiting on deck. And the fastball is in there for a strike. 93 miles an hour in the gun.
Well, Jim never had a problem really with the velocity. Always a strong arm. It was just a matter of command, and at times would leave the ball up in the zone. A sinker ball pitcher, a lot of ground balls when he's right.
Breaking ball gets away. It'll be a wild pitch and move the runners up. 2 in scoring position with 2 down.
Comes up a little bit short right there, kicks away. Tries to actually catch it. The catcher reaching out to try to backhand that ball instead of just sliding in front, keeping it in front of him. A good block.
Jim had those 2 big seasons with the Orioles, the 51 and 50 save years, 2012 and 13. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Davis backed off a little bit on the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strike count with 2 down. Chance for the Orioles to put up a couple of big late inning runs here in the 7th. The 2-out walk to De Aza and Pearce being hit by a pitch. Upfield playing Chris to left. And that will miss. A bit inside probably. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Yeah, a lot of times you see big power hitters. The outfield won't play the shift to pull. They'll think if he's going to hit the ball in the air, it's either going to be over the fence or he's going to be late and it's going to be a weak fly ball, typically more the other way.
2-2. Jim Johnson working to Chris Davis. And that one's down low. That's scratched across the plate. So a full count, 3-2. Working into a bit of a jam here for a couple of easy outs. The first 2 hitters in the inning. As of the lead runner, Pierce off second. Delivery to Davis and a swing and a miss. Johnson comes on and gets a couple of strikeouts. The Orioles no runs, no hits, and 2 left on base. Lead it 3-1. Live Orioles baseball is back with 2015 mlb.com at bat. On your smartphone or tablet, stay connected. Live radio broadcast, stats, breaking news, and more. Download mlb.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Tommy Hunter now in the ball game. 8 games this spring. He's had a couple rough outings in the middle of spring, but the first few were really good. The last few have been really good. So a roller coaster ride of spring training, and I think Tommy's ready to go. He's a great fastball. He's got command of his off-speed pitches. He's mixing them up very well. I think he feels good, and he's ready to break camp.
And he will work to Eric Young Jr., who will take the pitch for a called strike with Lavarnway working behind the plate now. Clevenger out. So all 3 of the catchers for the Orioles getting an opportunity here in this game. Joseph started. Clevenger came on, caught, got an at-bat. Now Lavarnway will move in behind the plate. Hunter with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Young. The leadoff batter is singled, struck out twice, scored on the RBI double by Peterson. Those were the first 2 batters of the ball game that resulted in the Atlanta lead. Ubaldo Jimenez then settled it down over the 4-inning tee worked, and since then the Orioles, Brock, Mattis, O'Day, Garcia have held him down. Garcia an inning, a strikeout, and a hit batter. The 22-year-old. Young's delivery will miss. Delivery to Young will miss inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You see how Tommy's mixing it up. A couple off-speed pitches and fastball away. Tries to lock him up with a fastball in. So he has that good ability to really mix it up. Not just stick with the fastball. So a couple of years ago, he got fastball happy. The home run total started going up a little bit. He's back to pitching, and he looks really good. He knows what he's doing out there. He can move the baseball really well. 2-seam fastballs look good.
That's got a squib. That's going to be a base hit. It'll roll into foul territory. The speedster Young on his way to second base. An easy double on one of those pool cue shots. It just was spinning away.
Exactly. I think right when it hit the dirt, it probably kicked away from Manny. He thought he was going to be on that. We've seen him make these plays all spring long, right down the line, glove it, and then turn and throw. But that one, that extra spin kicks it away just enough to get it out of his reach.
So the potential tying run here in the 8th inning will come to the plate for the Braves. That's their 4th hit. And it is the first hit the Braves have had since Simmons' single came in the 2nd inning. And it's only the 3rd base runner they've had since the 2nd inning. Tommy Hunter with nobody out. And the pitch taken by Jace Peterson. Peterson out of Louisiana, acquired by the Braves in the Justin Upton trade. And that pitch will be taken away for a ball. Count goes 2-0. Outfield moves in shallow on Jace Peterson. And that chopper is going to be foul outside of first base.
A big cut, 2-0. One of the benefits of having the ability to cut your fastball or sink it is these counts. 2-0 count. You know a hitter's gearing up for a fastball. You can put a little bit of movement on it. Maybe get him to mishit it a little bit. There, the pulled foul ball.
Down 2-1. Young good lead off second base. 2-1 delivery on the way to him, and it will miss. So Hunter falls behind here. 3 balls and 1 strike on Peterson. Peterson hitting in the number 2 hole for the Braves. He'll go to second base with that Flaherty over up and records the out. Young moves over to third with 1 down. And that will bring Joe Benson to the plate. Benson will get his second at bat since coming on for Freeman. He was called out on strikes back in the 6th inning. Benson, a runner at third. Orioles will keep the infield back here in the 8th inning. Surrender the run if Young can come home on a ground ball. Benson going after that breaking ball away. Not close. And a 1-strike count.
A healthy cut. Nice breaking ball. Good call as well by LaVarnway. You figure runner at third base, 1 out. Hitter's going to be over aggressive, and they took advantage of it right there.
A 1 delivery to him. Check swing went around on that one. Just could not hold up. Fooled him twice on those 2 pitches, and Hunter gets ahead 0-2, I think.
Yeah, I thought they called that a strike. Should have.
No check. Maybe not. There it is, 0-2. And the delivery on the way. And that's that. Outside corner, Benson looking like, Hunter gets the strikeout. 2 down.
A couple breaking balls over aggressive on, and then Tommy working that outside corner. Getting the call here, 94 away. Not much of a chance to even get the bat on that one. He gets rung up hard.
And Kelly Johnson now with the runner at third. Johnson, a couple of walks, struck out. With a shift here employed. Eric Young, the runner at third base, was halfway down the line. Tommy Hunter kind of jumped a little bit when he saw in his peripheral vision a dark jersey going by. Here's the 1-0 delivery down the line, and it will be foul. 1-1.
Yeah, a lot of times with these shifts, runner at third base can do a lot of things to make a pitcher feel uncomfortable, jockey a little bit, maybe get a balk and a cheap run right there.
He can pretty much take as big a lead as he wants.
Right.
Because the nearest Oriole is only within fly casting distance. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that'll be inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
LaVarnway is almost as close as Machado is.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. And obviously you get a wild pitch that doesn't go too far away from a catcher or pass ball or something.
Yeah.
Gives you a chance to score. 2-1 delivery going upstairs with it. Leaving the count up. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Tommy. Two down. Hunter's delivery. Johnson a tapper. Second base. Tough play. Flaherty is fast. Not going to get him. Run in. So it'll be an infield hit for Kelly Johnson. And he'll be credited with the RBI. That will score Eric Young and make it a 3-2 game.
Oh, he really wanted this hit. He's hustling down the line. Cabrera getting to it. But Johnson was already there. Not a lot he could do when he gloved the ball.
Again, the effect of the shift. Cabrera having to come a long way. Cabrera not Flaherty, as I said, with Cabrera moving over. And here is Phil Gosselin, who's going to get his first at bat. So a run in here in the 8th inning. And Gosselin up with 2 down and a run around at first base. Hunter's delivery to a fastball that hit the hard dirt in front of the plate. Flaherty this time off the mark. Everybody's safe. Boy, a couple of hard choppers. Error will be charged on that. A tough play for Flaherty.
Yeah, not a lot of hard hit balls here in this inning off Tommy Hunter. Ryan Flaherty showing his range, but can't quite get turned enough to make an accurate throw. Sails a little bit, pulling Davis off the bag.
Well, the Braves threatening to score more here in the inning as they bang out a couple. Siriaco will get his first shot at the plate. Came on as a pinch runner for Gomes. And Siriaco will take the pitch for a strike. Pedro Siriaco, another speedster on this Atlanta ball club. Siriaco with Kansas City last year, 25 games, spent most of it at AAA. Minor league free agent in the offseason, signed by the Braves. Right into the shift. Ryan Flaherty is right there, and that'll do it. So a run in on a couple of hits and an error with a couple left on base. Orioles up by 1. So the Braves make it interesting as they did last night, as they have made it a one-run ball game, 3-2, going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Juan Jaime coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he's had an interesting spring. He's had some real good outings and not so good. You see the earned run average at 5.87. 10 base on balls is what's hurt him. The command isn't quite there, but 6 punch outs. So he's got the stuff. It's just finding the plate. Trying to get it to work over the plate. Certainly improve his numbers.
Jose Bracino will come on to do the catching. Bethancourt out. So a new battery. Jim Johnson worked an inning. No hits, couple of strikeouts, a walk, and a hit batter for the former Oriole. Adam Jones will lead it off. Jones 0 for 3 in the ball game tonight. And the fastball overhand from Jaime is in there for a strike. Looks like Jaime will be in the bullpen for this Atlanta team because of the injury to Josh Outman on the DL. So all of these probable roster players getting their chance here. That rode in. Adam taking a deep breath on that one. A little too close to the hands. Right. 1-1.
I don't know why they checked that swing. He was trying to save himself there, getting out of the way.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Jaime's delivery got one down the middle. Adam couldn't quite catch up to it and will foul it back.
Good arm. 95, 96 miles an hour with the fastball.
Another one of those players getting an opportunity that might not have been there otherwise, but for roster availability. Out of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Jones. Big heater. Just reared back on that one and got at him.
4 fastballs, all over 95 miles an hour, and this one riding up and out of the zone. You try to, it looks good, but boy, once it gets in front of you, it just takes off. This one over Adams' bat.
So Jaime gets the strikeout. He pitched with Atlanta last year in 16 ball games. 10 seasons of professional baseball behind him. 8 of them active. A couple of years where he did not pitch. And the pitch will be taken up for a ball. Travis Snyder going in distance in this ball game for the Orioles. Singled and scored in the 2nd inning. He led that inning off with a base hit. Has drawn a walk and he has struck out. Orioles have the RBIs. Cabrera, Caleb Joseph, and the home run by Diaz. First inning, Peterson RBI for Atlanta, and then in that last half inning, the RBI by Kelly Johnson.
And Dan was talking about all the big arms that are in Major League Baseball now, but one thing you do see with that extra velocity is lack of command.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure the guy's got a big arm, but the inability to really hit his spots, and we've seen that here. The catcher setting up, down and away, fastballs riding up and in. So You know, sometimes they tell pitchers take a little off and just try to hit your spot, because if you can't throw it for strikes when you want, you're going to have a lot of trouble at the major league level.
Foul back. He was the closer for Atlanta's AAA team. Gwinnett, he had 18 saves last year, pitched in 43 ball games, only 41 innings. He's never pitched very many innings anywhere in his career, playing with the Dominican national team, then some minor league seasons. A short relief expert out of the bullpen. 2-2 delivery on the way. Tried to drop that one in, didn't get the call. The count goes to 3-2.
Not a bad breaking ball right there. First one he's thrown.
Manny Machado's waiting on deck. Reason the Orioles starters, who will be playing on Monday in Tampa, are still in the ballgame is this is their last one. They're not going to be going to Orlando. Called third strike, so Jaime comes on and gets a couple of strikeouts. 2 down here in the 8th.
I think Snyder thinking he's going to double up with that slider as he missed, but instead just dots a fastball in 95 down and away. A lot you can do with that. Try to protect, but you can pull the trigger on that one. Good arm.
So 2 down and nobody on, and that will bring up Manny Machado. Machado with a base hit is hit into a double play, and he has grounded out. Strike the side out here. That one, speaking of control. 1-0 count on Manny. This right-hander's 27 years old, not a youngster. 1-0 count, 2 down. Rays will have the bottom part of their order due up in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Machado steps back. Pitch. This is inside, maybe a little bit low. Count goes to 2-0. 7,329 on hand. 7,329. Oriole closer Zach Britton getting ready to go. .2-0 delivery and a chopper to third. Foul.
Pass on that one from Manny. Gets himself into a good hitter's count. Geared up a little bit to the firm fastball, just pulling a little foul.
By the way, there was a question you asked. I wrote the note down, then forgot to. A-Rod on home runs.
Yeah.
Our great truck looking up the information. He's got 654. Trying to catch Willie Mays, 5th place, 660. That's where A-Rod stands in that department. Pitch is going to miss a little bit outside, and a 3-ball 1-strike count. We missed it earlier. We were talking about some of the milestones that will be looked for this season and how A-Rod figures in a number of those, including moving up in hits and runs scored, RBIs, and home runs. 3-ball 1-strike delivery, and it's outside. So after a couple of strikeouts, he surrenders the walk, third given up by Braves pitchers. And the Orioles' 8th inning will stay alive, and Cabrera will come to the plate. Julio Bourbon will come on to run for Manny Machado.
Julio Bourbon getting a lot of looks this spring and called over from minor league camp. Really appreciate what he's done there at the AAA level. Very solid year last year. Always comes in with a good attitude. Willing to help out. I saw him working with Mike Yastrzemski, another young outfielder in the Orioles organization, the other day, and he's a quality guy. He's getting rewarded right now for some opportunities here in spring training, and could potentially help the big club this season.
He's gone 4 for 13 in spring training games for the Orioles, 3 RBIs. Picked up an extra base hit, and there's the other thing he brings. Trying to steal it. Bourbon tag on. Did he leave the bag? No, and he gets it. Stolen base. Bourbon running immediately. Picks up his second stolen base of the spring.
Yeah, he can run. A lot of infield hits, and here a good jump. Nice stolen base at a crucial time. We're showing that bunt. Try to get in the way a little bit. Siriaco taking that throw in front of the base, and that's something we've talked about. You know, I don't see many Orioles or any Orioles infielders take the throw in front of the base. Give yourself a better opportunity if you straddle there. See Bourbon sliding to that outside corner safely.
So Cabrera will try and get him home, get that lead back up to 2. Already with the two singles, RBI, 2 for 3. Takes the pitch, which is in there for a strike from Juan Jaime. Oh, 2 outs. Orioles looking for win number 12 here in spring training. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Cabrera will let that one go by outside. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Cabrera has put together some good at-bats this spring. He fights off pitches. He battles. He never gets too big, and I think that's a big reason why he's here. Potential high-on-base guy. You know, put together some good at-bats, both sides, right and left. Battle off some pitches, work a pitcher, put the ball in play, give himself a chance.
1-2 count on him. Infield pretty much straight up here. Cabrera going after it, and came back a little off the fastball. Checked one up high. So Jaime does strike out the side. Runner left on, 3 outs. The Orioles win it. Britton's going to try and get him. Orioles have the 3-2 win in the ball, 3-2 lead in the ball game, looking for the win. Travis Snyder coming out of the ball game, picked up a single and scored a run back in the second. Travis, thanks very much for coming on board and joining us. So are you ready? Did you get the work in you wanted this spring?
Yeah, I think it's been productive from day one. A lot of focus on little things that we want to improve on as a team and individually, just trying to get better every day.
Travis, how long did it take you to kind of fit into this clubhouse? I mean, I walked through there today, and you're one of the guys now. It seems like a pretty good clubhouse.
I think after my dance for the talent show, people realize that I'm here for real. So, you know, just great group of guys. Personalities are something that is easy for me to blend with, and just trying to be a role player.
Is it a dance that would be airable on television?
Highly unlikely.
No wonder you blended in so well. Do you have any word about what your role is going to be on this team? Has Buck talked with you about that this spring?
You know, just show up to the ballpark and be ready to go. Whatever role that is for each day is going to be different. You know, it's a long season. I've learned throughout my career I can't focus on what the predictions are or what the role is day one. It's just one day at a time.
You really have, you know, although that we say that's a cliche, you have learned truthfully in your career, Travis, that really is what you have to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. 162 games. I mean, I've been the opening day starter to a bench player and back playing every day down the stretch. So for me, it's been a lot of good experiences that have helped me put myself in this position now. Well,
we appreciate you joining us here, and we will look forward to seeing you Monday in Tampa, and keep up the good dancing, okay?
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, you bet. Kazmar grounds out, so Britton trying to get it done here in a hurry. Glenn Davis has come on to play in left field. Bourbon is in center for Jones. Rosa comes on to play in right field. Jason Nix at third base. Yanish will play at third. Scope at second. Flaherty at first. So there you go. And only 1 out away is Zach Britton in his 11th appearance of the spring. Todd Cunningham has played the whole ball game 0 for 3.
And Zach has just had a great spring. The things he learned last season, he's brought right into spring training. He's been devastating with that sinking fastball. He's getting his strikeouts. He's getting his ground balls when he needs them. That fastball is his go-to pitch. A couple breaking balls right there. An opportunity to work on them. It's a good breaking ball, but it's his fastball that separates him. He could be a one-pitch pitcher and have great success.
And a chopper could end the ball game. Britton fielding his position. Gets the out, and that's that. The Orioles end their spring training in Sarasota with a 3-2 win over the Atlanta Braves in a very quick 9th inning for the Orioles. And the fans here at Ed Smith on their feet. As the last time they'll have a chance to see the ball club here with only one spring training game remaining. So the Orioles get the victory. Well played. 3-7-1 for the Orioles. 2-5-0 for the Braves. We'll be back to wrap it up. It's the Orioles picking up victory number 12.